So when you buy a tech device for one specific use case and it just can't perform that task, that's actually me right now with the Pixel Watch 3, and it's going to be the main reason I'm returning it. Now, it's not going to be the only reason I'm returning it. We'll get to all the reasons why I actually will be sending this back to Google. But first, I want to talk about who this watch is for, who will benefit from the Pixel Watch 3, and maybe this is the perfect watch for you. And if you're someone that's just looking for a normal smartwatch, I think the Pixel Watch 3 is one of the better ones for sure. If you're on an Android, it gives you all of the notifications, it gives you all of the fitness and health tracking, and now there's some of the metrics coming down from Fitbit Premium to the Pixel Watch 3 for free, so you can get some of those as well with this watch. And this is not my first WearOS watch, but it is my first Pixel watch. I actually skipped out on the Pixel Watch 1 and 2 because some of the reviews were a little bit mixed on it. But then I jumped on this one. It was a 45mm size. The battery was supposed to be greatly improved. So that's why I jumped on this one. And honestly, I think the battery is really great on this watch. It's very much comparable to that of an Apple Watch. I roughly get 24 hours of use and it comes down to like roughly 30%. So if I really extended it, I could probably get closer to 30 hours kind of lasting overnight. But with the way my recharge schedule works, I actually charge it at night before going to sleep, so that way I can track my sleep, use it all of the next day, and then go back to the cycle of charging it before bed. I actually have learned that there's some people that actually don't track their sleep with their smartwatch. Is that something that you guys aren't doing? Let me know down in the comments if you're someone that actually isn't tracking their sleep. I feel like that's one of the main reasons someone would get a smartwatch, or one of the main reasons people do get smartwatches. So if you're not using it, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like this video as well if you guys are enjoying the content. It really does help out this channel a lot. And make sure you guys get subscribed so you guys can watch my future tech videos as well. And one of the benefits that actually comes from using the smartwatch to bed as well is that you can take advantage of that flashlight. If you need to go use the bathroom in the middle of the night, you can just take your watch and use the flashlight within the watch to kind of guide your way, and you're not tripping over anything. Now, I come from using the Garmin flashlight, and I will say that I think it's a little unfair to compare any of the smartwatch flashlights to the Garmin, because the Garmin has a literal physical flashlight. So because of that, I'm not going to really be holding it up to that standard. But when you compare it to something like an Apple Watch or an Apple Watch Ultra, it is a little bit more dim, but it's definitely not dim enough that you can't see. So if it's the middle of the night, it's super dark, you definitely can still use it. But if it's in the middle of the day and you're just trying to kind of light something a little bit more, it's not really something that's going to be super useful if there's already other ambient light going on. And I know that's not really one of the main use cases for a smartwatch, is to use it as a flashlight, but it is always nice when all of those small features also work well on the watch. And when it does come to getting all of the other smart features on the watch, you still get everything that you need from the Pixel Watch 3. The OS is super responsive. You get your tiles to check your weather, check your steps, check your health metrics, and it even comes with two different buttons. One of the ones that's super small on the side to kind of look at your recent apps, and then you also get this digital crown that has really great haptic feedback whenever you're scrolling through. I personally would have liked a couple more buttons. Again, I'm coming from a Garmin that actually already has 5 buttons integrated, and you can control the whole UI system with just the buttons. But coming to a smartwatch, it has a really great and responsive screen. Definitely a step up from something like a Samsung watch, which I've used before, and it didn't have that great of a screen, which is why I actually sold that one after just using it for a couple of days. But unfortunately, even after all of that, there's still one feature that doesn't work on this device for me, and it's getting me on time to all of my work meetings. And that is because the calendar on this watch actually is not syncing all of my Google accounts. So I can only see either my work account or can only see my personal account. But because this is my personal watch, I have my personal account on here, and as much as I've tried, I cannot get my work calendar to also show up. And I've actually tried all the troubleshooting methods. I've gone into my Pixel 9 Pro, gone into the Pixel Watch app, turned on calendar sync. I've even added my work account to my Pixel Watch, like I said, but ultimately I have to go back to my personal one because of all the data it collects and sends into my Fitbit account. That's why I'm still having the personal account here, but it just won't show me all of my work calendar events. Even something like the Garmin, that's a third-party watch connected to the Pixel 9 Pro as well, will show me all of my upcoming events. I can just go down into the calendar app and it'll show me my next event as well as what else is coming up throughout the day. Now, for me, that is one of my main use cases for the Pixel Watch, or I guess any smartwatch, is to make sure I get to meetings on time, seeing what my schedule is for the day, and kind of planning around that. So the fact that a Pixel Watch through the Google Calendar app is not syncing my calendars is a big and huge miss for me. Now, I know there's other workarounds. You can probably download a third-party app. You can download one for your calendar that syncs everything to a third-party app and then use that on the Pixel Watch. But unfortunately for me, that is not the route I want to go. I am someone that is simple, and I will use the stock calendar app on a phone. Even now that I've switched over to the iPhone and I have the Apple Calendar, I'm able to sync all of my calendars to the Apple Calendar and still get all of those calendar events on the Apple Watch Ultra. So unfortunately for me, that really sucks. And it just so happened that the week I was using the Pixel Watch 3, the Pixel 9 Pro was actually getting delayed notifications. So I wasn't getting even the 10-minute reminder for my meetings, and I would just completely and outright miss my meetings or be really late to them, which was unfortunate and a very bad experience. So that is the main reason, but that is not the only reason I'm returning the Pixel Watch 3. The other reason is going to be because it doesn't show as much metrics as you would get from something like a Garmin. Now, normally I would say it's a little unfair to compare a smartwatch to a fitness tracker in terms of all the metrics you get, but with Google buying Fitbit, they did buy a company that has a lot of the health metrics, a lot of the fitness metrics as well. So not having all of that incorporated into the Pixel Watch 3 is also a huge miss in my eyes. Something like the Garmin is going to be a little bit more expensive to get into, especially if you go into the more kind of elite or premium version of their watches. There are other ones that are a little bit more smartwatch-like. If you go with something like a Vivo Active or a Garmin Venue, and you just get a lot more metrics. Even with the morning brief on the Pixel Watch 3 compared to the Garmin morning report, there's just so much more information that comes from Garmin. You get calendar notifications as well, again, which is kind of ironic because that's the one reason I want to return it. But on the Pixel Watch 3, you don't get what your schedule looks like throughout the day. And also with the Garmin, you get a lot more training metrics after you finish even something as simple as a walk. It shows you kind of your training load, it shows you your exercise load, it shows your anaerobic and your aerobic stages and what that's doing to your body battery or kind of your energy throughout the day. And then you also get all the other metrics like your fitness age, your endurance score, your hill score, your race predictor. You get Garmin Coach for runs and races without that paywall as well. It's just everything within Garmin is actually free after you purchase their device, whereas the Google Pixel Watch 3 is kind of pushing people towards getting that Fitbit premium service instead. And if you are someone that's a super user of smartwatches in general, you probably could figure out how to get the Pixel Watch 3 to give you all of those metrics just like you would on a Garmin for free, maybe even paid if you go with third-party apps. But for me, again, I am a simple person. I don't really like to install all these third-party apps. Make sure that I learn how to use this app for logging my food. Make sure I use this app for logging my workouts and this one for logging my sleep. Like, there's so much that you can do with a smartwatch, but I just want everything to be done on board, because if I'm going to buy a device, I want it to do everything within its own app rather than having to figure out and put together all of the other apps as well. And even with the Google Pixel Watch 3, Google does include two different services that you can use. You can use Fitbit, which is their main one that they're pushing now, but you can still use Google Fit on this device as well to get all of your metrics, get all of your health data as well logged and tracked. So that's kind of still a little bit confusing as well as to which one you want to go with. To me, again, if it's something that's going to be the main driver or the main thing, it should be a simple to use app. And then the last reason why I will be returning it is kind of more minimal. It definitely is a little bit more kind of catered to me specifically, and it's the design of the watch. It is circular, which is something that I'm huge on. I do like that it looks like a normal watch, but unfortunately it is very rounded. The screen is definitely rounded around the edges, and when you're wearing it, more than 50% of the watch that's exposed is going to be glass. So I highly recommend that you get a case on it if this is going to be your daily wear watch, especially if you work outdoors, you work or you hike outdoors as well. If you have any risk of hitting this against a corner, it can easily shatter because it is curved. I remember back when Samsung started releasing all of their edge or edgeless displays that would have that curve along the sides. They did look really nice and it made it look bezel-less, but unfortunately it also was a lot more fragile. It showed a lot of reflections, and this one reflects a lot. If you hold it at any angle, you're always going to get a reflection across the ring, especially if you don't have a case on it. So because of that, this design definitely is not for me, especially because I've gotten used to all of the flat displays like the Garmin here, as well as the Apple Watch Ultra. I'm used to having something a little bit more like this because I've definitely have banged my wrist before on a wall as I'm turning around the corner. So because of that, I just want to make sure that my tech is covered. I do recommend that you get a case, and if I was keeping this, I definitely would get a case myself as well. It's definitely very minor compared to the actual usability and compatibility of the watch, but it's also one of the reasons why I won't be keeping it. What do you guys think? Are you guys upgrading to the Pixel Watch 3? Do you guys already own a Pixel Watch and are rather staying with that one instead? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you guys for watching this video. Click here to watch another one of my videos, and I will catch you guys on the next one.